Let me just ask this question. Why do you think some preachers or pastors, or what is the reason why people think God does not bring people together for his kingdom purpose anymore? What do you think are some of the reasons as to this whole thing? Because I've had people say, oh, what if the person God chose for you died? There are 3 million people on the face of the earth. Like, what would you guys speak into those things that people usually say? I'll start with you, Lady Patricia. What would you say?
Okay. I've heard it too. I think from my personal testimony alone, I do believe that if we surrender every aspect of our lives, the Lord will be involved. I think, of course, we can go and choose someone that, we want to date or be with, but I think as children of God, like we should include the Lord in everything that we
Yes.
do, including our relationships, including, marriage. That's a big decision. And I believe that the Lord wants to be included in it. And I personally believe that marriage is for a purpose. And there's something that God wants to do,
Hmm.
and He knows exactly, the right person for you. And I think that may be an area that a lot of people struggle to trust fully the Lord in. But I think when you do fully trust Him, He knows what's best, and He will lead you. And that's been my journey and my experience with it. I do believe the Lord
Hmm.
wants to be involved in that.
That's powerful. Yeah, and I
Right.
think your key point that I am taking away from that is surrender, right? When we get to
Yes.
the point where we actually surrender and trust God, then God can do whatever He needs to do for us. All right, Minister Danella, thank you for sharing that. What do you have to add to that?
Well, yeah, I agree because that says hide yourself in God. So when a man wants to find you, he will have to go there first, by Shannon Elder. Um, I believe is that just like she said, a lot of people haven't had that experience, and so they just go on the natural. And I have seen that when people surrender totally everything over to God, and they don't surrender this part. They feel like everything else is you surrender to God, but they don't think about the part where you have to meet someone, you want to meet your spouse. They don't really surrender that. And I believe that because that's not happening, there's a lot, but there's not a lot of experiences that people have heard about. And they don't teach it in the church. I believe that that should be taught more in the church. So this way, you will know. The young women, the young men, they will know how to find their spouse. They don't have to go out in a dating world and do the dating apps and all these kind of things and get their hearts broken. So they just have to know that God can do it and God wants to do it. And no one had ever shared that with me. So, yeah, I believe that. I agree.
Awesome. God can do it and God will do it. That's powerful.